just because they are cheaper does not mean that we want you to get got because you did not do your homework.
Hello, everybody. I'm Vas.
I'm Trace.
And welcome to Browne Family Builders.
What are we talking about today, babe?
Today we're discussing the numbers you need to know before buying your first investment property or your first home.
I think the biggest thing that we wish we had known about was free money.
Free money. We didn't know to look for grants. We didn't know to check for the city, your local CDFI. We didn't know any of these things.
So let's break that down a little bit more. So first of all, grant money. There are grants available for first-time home buyers. And those grants can be available through the city that you're moving to, from the state that you're moving to, or that you're buying your home in. With banks often have grant money available too. And oftentimes that money is first come, first served, and it's not based on income, which is something that we saw with a lot of the programs through the city and through the state, is those were often tied to certain income levels. And so a bunch of them we weren't initially eligible for.
The banks are the ones, they're the ones that kind of like are the source of the money, but we typically the management of the program or management of the distribution of money is given to a CDFI.
A what now?
A CDFI. Community Development Financial Institution.
Clarify that a little bit for me.
These are nonprofits that are set up to help development within the community via financing, via counseling, support, guidance.
If you look up CDFI or community development programs, you will find a list of the organizations, usually nonprofit, in the area that are doing work to attract residents to that area. And sometimes we'll even have housing available, like they will actually have a stock of housing that they may have redeveloped.
They will lend.
Or they can help lend, especially if you're coming to the area with if you're helping to revitalize the area. A lot of what we're sharing is also for neighborhoods that are looking for revitalization, wouldn't you say? So I don't know. I don't necessarily know how it works in the suburbs, but that ain't really where we're trying to live. So there are programs that are not tied to specific areas or specific income, but you just have to dig a little bit. All right, so now you got a little bit of help with your closing costs and with your down payment. What else did we wish we knew? Well, I would say almost even before. Maybe this should be number one. What can you afford?
AKA, how much house you can buy.
The sticker price on a house is an important number, but it's not the most important number. Sticker price does not tell you everything that you need to know about that house. Mm-hmm. So let's say you see a house and the house is $100,000, right? And you have been approved by your bank for $100,000, and you're like, yes, woohoo, I got the house. Let's go. The cost of the actual house is important. Equally important is the taxes. And we're based in Jersey.
High taxes.
So our taxes are some of the highest in the country, right? So for other places, this might not be as important. But if you are looking to buy a home in New Jersey, you definitely want to consider your taxes, right?
Your taxes can be higher than your mortgage.
I take a $100,000 house in two different locations, and if you buy where your taxes are $10,000 and above, like in some areas, your taxes can be as much, and in some cases more, than your actual mortgage. Or the amount that you pay for your taxes is bundled into how much a lender will give you. So if a lender is giving you $100,000, then you actually want to look at what your mortgage payment is going to be. So PITI is what your whole mortgage all in is called, right? So that's principal.
Interest.
T is taxes.
Insurance.
And also, if you're doing an FHA loan, your PMI, which is additional mortgage insurance. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a federally backed loan. They want additional insurance that you're actually going to pay it. So there's actually almost like a penalty charge that you pay every month for having that FHA loan.
Yep.
And together, all of those things constitute your all-in mortgage payment, right? So that is the number that you actually want to be thinking about when you are deciding how much house you can afford. Also, when we were talking about numbers, always want to find out the cost of heating, the cost of electricity
versus
when we bought, it was an oil tank, right? So in addition to the monthly payments, we also had to factor in how much was it going to cost to heat a 4-unit with oil heating.
Oil fuel was costing us around $800 a month during the winter, and about $300-400 a month during the summertime.
Your rent roll from your tenants, how much are your tenants currently paying? If your tenants, their current tenants are paying, and how regularly they are paying. So these are all numbers that you can get from the realtor when you are thinking about what your all-in costs are going to be. So not only do you want to know the price of your house, but you also want to know the price of the comps in your area. Tell them about the comparable prices, baby.
So residential values of properties are based on the comparables in your neighborhood. And the comparables are, comps for short. You figure the comps by looking at properties that were sold within the last 3 months in your neighborhood, that are no more than a mile away, that have carry the same factors or characteristics of your house. Is it 2-family, a 3-family, 1,200 square foot versus 1,400 square foot, it has to be within the same range.
And this is information that you can also just get from your realtor, right? Your realtor should definitely
help you figure out the comps.
Be able to give you some comps. Why do they need to know the comps? Why is that important?
Because it helps you figure out what you're going to get approved for.
Right. Oh, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, so your comps help you figure out what you're getting approved for, but it also helps to know if you were getting jacked for the price of your house, right? We bought our 4-family house in December of 2017. Less than 6 months later, our neighbor purchased their house, a 2-family that is about half the square footage of ours.
Bought for $379, and they bought for $3. It was listed at $174. And literally that's 2 months later.
And that was already after the renovations were done. So that was not based on renovations. There was no additional updates to the house.
Fully renovated it, listed for $174. It sat there for 2 months, didn't get sold, and all of a sudden, pop, it sold for $3. Again, we're advising for you to do your research. We would have checked the property and see what was last sold, see what was last listed. We would have had a realtor find out what the comps were.
He would have had a lot more room to negotiate had he known how much that house actually was on the market for and how much it was just a couple of months before he was listed. Sometimes when people are coming from more expensive markets, New York, they come to Jersey and they are just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe the houses are this price because they're so much cheaper than the New York market. But just because they are cheaper does not mean that we want you to get got because you did not do your homework. Because just because it's better than a house of the same size would be priced in New York, you're not comparing it to New York. You want to compare it to literally what are other houses in the area selling for.
Yep.
This brings us to our last point about things we wish we would have known, and that is the cost of renovation. Or even when we were looking, we were trying to find nicely done, or that HGTV wowed by the gentrification gray walls and the new shiny backsplash, right?
What we found out.
The cost of renovations is usually much cheaper than the additional price, retail price that people try to charge you for a fancy pretty house, which you could very easily do yourself, right? So at this point now we know maybe a brand new build, but we're not purchasing any renovated or flipped properties.
We've seen way too many examples of properties that were done incorrectly, done quick flips where people just cover everything up and not fix the actual structural issues that exist in the house.
Right.
They don't fix the roof, they just patch the roof. The flooring still has holes under it, but they put a carpet over it.
Or our favorite one, walls.
There's no insulation in the walls.
Because a lot of times, a lot of these updates are merely cosmetic. Because when people are doing quick flips and updates, they usually forget about all the not sexy things that actually make the house really run efficiently and bring your numbers down. So always hear about the horror stories, but I think, it for us, after having done a couple of renovations and updates, I really
do enjoy it.
So maybe we'll make a video about some of the joys of renovation.
Seeing something go from smush, mold, holes in the wall, just a finished product that our tenants are happy because everything works, heating systems, water systems work. That's what it's all about for us. Like we enjoy delivering a nice, beautiful, complete product and giving people a nice place to stay, a place that is deserving of their money. They're paying you, so you don't want to hand them a property that needs things to be done or it's just haphazard. Like you don't.
There you have it. The other numbers that you need to think about before you purchase your first multifamily. All right, y'all know the drill. If you like what we had to share,
like,
subscribe,
and hit the notification button.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding is down here somewhere. See you next time.
Bye for now, folks.